Welcome to the Heart of a Poet channel. Glad to be back. Um, Happy September 10th, 2003. Time is flying if you can't see. um, we've been stopping and going in the book of Exodus, capturing what we can. Uh, it's been a very um interesting time in the book of Exodus, but I'm excited. Like to continue to read and seeing what we can see and hear. So I'll start with a word of prayer as usual, and we'll jump right into it. God, I thank you, God above the firmament that sits high above the firmament. Thank you for this day, a different day down here. Thank you for my strength, my life, the use of my limbs. Thank you for your knowledge, your wisdom. Thank you for all understanding. And I just ask that you come down, stand or sit with me. Spirit of truth be here so we can see the things that we need to see, hear the things that we need to hear. Most High, let your will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Not my will, but do what you do best. Let truth prevail today and tomorrow. And help our hearts not to be weary for the things we see, the things we hear, but help us to get all the knowledge and all the understanding that we possibly can while we walk to and fro through this portal. And I give you the praise for all these things. And thank you for allowing me to be a mouthpiece for you. In Emmanuel's name I pray. Amen. All right, so let's see what we got. I think I last stopped at Exodus. I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at chapter 24. Exodus chapter 24. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone said, Come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. I want to look at Revelations real quick. Right there it says 70 elders. Uh, 74 and 20. 4 and 20 elders. Be some 4 and 20 elders. So Exodus speak of 70 of the elders of Israel, and Revelation speaks of 44 and 20 elders. I find that interesting. 4 and 20 elders again in 14. I'm going to do some studying, man, to see if that number increases in Revelations. It probably stays 4 and 20. Um, 20 Exodus 24, 3 is dark, and Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said, we will do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men and the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. The number 9 is dark. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Lord of Israel, and there was under his foot, as it were a paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearance. So, Exodus chapter 24, verse 10, just told us, because I said the number 9 is dark. Excuse me. And I tell you, every time, cut this music all the way off. And I say every time we run into a dark number, something explosive takes place, right? So it says, and they saw the God of Israel. Right there. That's why it's so important to read this thing out loud. So I know certain parts says no man has seen God at any time, right? But it just said in verse 10, Exodus 24, verse 10, and they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were a paved work of a sapphire stone, and it was, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. I'm going to go to Judges 13 and 22. Judges 13:22. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die because we have seen God. So here's another people proclaiming or thinking that they would be unalive because they seen God. 12 is dark, and the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me unto the mount and be there, and I will give thee table of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. So we already read so far, Moses have gave a bunch of rules. Like him running the house, he gave a bunch of rules, but the law hadn't been established yet. But it's about to be, right? And Moses rose up and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. There go that cloud again. There go the cloud. Right? And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. That word Lord in 16 is capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. It's very good to know. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and gat him up unto the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. There go that number again. For those whom have not tasted the New Testament, you know that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. We also know that Noah was in the ark because it rained 40 days and 40 nights. The significance of that number. Let's see, 25, chapter 25, 24 went by quick. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that getteth or giveth it willingly with his heart. Ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linen and goat's hair, and ram skin dyed red, and badger skins, and shittim wood, or oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set in the epods in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, according after the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it. 10 is dark, and they shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. Now, if we're not familiar with the word shittim wood, if we read about Noah, I think Noah, the ark was made with some of this wood. And I believe wholeheartedly that's where you get that word today in language. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about, and thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold of beaten work, shalt thou make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall ye make a cherubim. Make the cherubims and the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat up above, and thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. And there I will make meat with thee, and will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. 23 is dark. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit the breadth thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make unto it a border of a handbreadth round about, and 2 shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal of pure gold. Thou shalt make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. 31 is dark. Thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold of beaten work. Shall the candlestick be made, his shaft and his branches, his bowl, his nips or nopes, and his flower shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlesticks out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with the nope or knop, KNOP, and the flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with the knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with the knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same, and it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and thou shalt light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the thongs thereof and the sniff dishes thereof shall be pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mount. Hello, salute, April Showers. Thank you for stopping by. 26. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of one curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops and blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the shelfage in the couplings. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. And thou shalt make 50 tetches of gold, and couple the curtain together with the tetches, and it shall be one tabernacle. 7 is dark, and thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. Thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the couplings, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 tetches of brass, and put the tetches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, and half curtains that is remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle. And a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side, that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent, it shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of rams, skinned, dyed red, and over, and a covering above badger skin. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. The 2 tions, which is a T at the T, projections for joining, shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle 20 boards on the south side southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, there shall be 20 boards. And there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward, thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides, and they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and 2 sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. 26 is dark. The number 26, and thou shalt make boards of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 boards for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 boards for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the board shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold to plate for places for the boards, for the bars. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up, rise up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was showed thee in the mount. 31 is dark, and thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work, for with cherubim shall it be made. And thou shalt bring it up, and thou shalt bring it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the titches, and that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide into you between the holy place and the most holy. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most high place, or holy place, sorry. Let me read that again. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table outside the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side. 36 is dark, and thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple scarlet and fine linen, or twined linen, wart with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. Now, apparently in Exodus 25, Moses went up to the mount to be given the laws for the 10 Commandments. But we hearing some other things being done to as well. Now we also have to put in mind that he's going to be on this mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And the only supervision the people have is Joshua, Aaron, and Moses and Aaron's sister. We also have to put into content that Moses was the one that the people saw doing all the heavy lifting, so to speak. He had to pick up the rod, and he made all the plagues. He had to pick up that same staff, and he made the sea part. So they saw Moses doing all these abilities and not no one else. So you can imagine how they're thinking as he's up here on this mountain for 40 days, 40 nights. So this is a bumpy read. Okay, but we're at 27. My spirit man's talking to him. I got some other things I'd like to share too as well today. That's going to really blow our socks off. It hit me this morning when I got up this morning. Some very powerful stuff. So I'm going to continue to read, and we always pray. Well, I think I missed a couple times where I didn't pray, but I've asked the Most High to come and be with me, Spirit of Truth to be here. So when we do see these things, I hope it would lead us into a profound direction, and our testimonies be greater than it was yesterday, because the whole purpose of all of this is what? Soul winning. So if your soul is already won, it's time to win somebody else's. That's what I believe. I believe it's all if we feel content with of our knowledge with the Most High, then it's time to give somebody else some knowledge of the Most High, because it's all about souls. So 27, and thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be four square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the four corners thereof. His horn shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, all the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. Now, as I said before, in the New Testament, John ended his quote unquote the Gospels of John. He ended his with, there will be not enough books to contain all of what Jesus done in his time on earth. And this is something that took place in the day of Moses, but is it really relevant for us today? These are just questions from a Bible reader. Are these still relevant? What Moses, 40 days, 40 nights on a mountain, is that relevant for us today? We want to know more about what Jesus did on earth. Isn't that right? Let's see. 4:20, Exodus 27:4, and thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof, and thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the stave shall be put into the rings, and the stave shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. I don't know what changed in me, where I used to read that when I used to read the Bible out loud as a younger vessel, I would get nervous to say shittim wood. I really would. But then a profound knowledge came upon me, and I understand that these are where you got damnation, shittim wood, certain words in the Bible that we hear people say today, sometimes out of anger, sometimes playing, sometimes, but these are where it's stemmed from. Now, you won't find the F word in the Bible. You find hell in the Bible. But certain words that you don't find in the Bible, they're considered foul language. But when I was younger, I used to kind of like not say it out loud. I would just skip by it. Say, I'm not going to say that. But it's Bible, right? It's a Bible. So here we go. I'll continue. And the stave shall be put into the 7 rings, and the stave shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. This is Exodus 27:8. Hollow the board shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it. Number 9 is dark, and thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side. southward there shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen, and and 100 cubits long for one side, and the 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass, and the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side and length there shall be hangings of 100 cubit long, and 20 pillars, and their 20 sockets of brass, and hooks of the pillars, and their fillets of silver. 12. And there and for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. So I want to look at something as I read out loud. So we say, well, where are they getting the uh, stuff to do this? Well, remember in 25, chapter 25, and the Lord spake, this is 1, chapter 25 and 1, the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skin dyed red and badger skin and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, oxen stones and stones to be put in the ephod and in the breastplate. So the children of Israel, they had all this to give Moses as an offering. Think about that. It's either coming from the mixed multitude that came with the children of Israel, or all of this came from the children of Israel, but they all had brass, gold, silver, all of that to give Moses. Don't you find that interesting? You thinking like, man, kings, kings of the earth had to been barren with all this stuff. Nah, they was under Pharaoh's hand, remember? And I do know that while we was reading about Pharaoh and them and Pharaoh telling them to get from his face, that God told them to borrow stuff from the women in Pharaoh's camp. Remember? So I guess they was also given brass, gold, silver. Wow. When it comes from God, it comes from God, doesn't it? But these are earthly things. They didn't, not like manna that fell from the sky. These things cannot possibly fall from the sky. If we pray that God give us money, if we pray like, God, could you please give me some money? It would be counterfeit. If it came from heaven, this world wouldn't take it. They only take the money that's printed up. They wouldn't take, anything that's from another source, another place, right? So that means that the prayer would have to be absolutely different. They have to be worded different. This is Exodus 27, um, 11, I think. And likewise for the north side in length there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars, and there are 20 sockets of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. 12 is dark, and for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the south, on the east side, eastward shall be 50 cubits. The hundreds of one side of their gate shall be 50 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hanging 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. 16 is dark, and for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, warped with needlework, and their pillows shall be 4, and their sockets 4. All the pillows round about the court shall be filleted with silver, their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass. 18, the length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere. That word everywhere has a T at the E throughout. The height 5 cubits, and fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacles, and all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. The number 20 is dark, and thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil, or olive beaten from the light, to cause the lamp to burn always in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations in the behalf of the children of Israel. Let me read that again. In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations on the behalf of the children of Israel. So Leviticus 3:17 says, Leviticus 3:17. There's one on the live right now. Salute, hello. It could be April Showers still. I don't know. But salute to you. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Leviticus 3:17 says, it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Now, this covenant here in Exodus 27:21 says it's forever unto their generations of the behalf of the children of Israel. That says a lot, doesn't it? I have to pause a minute. That says a whole lot. Jesus ate a lot of fish. This saying, I went to Leviticus to make reference of what this was saying. And Leviticus 3:17, let's look at it again. Do we want truth or do we seek for something else? Leviticus 3:17 said it like this: it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations, plural, generations. One generation is 40 years. One generation is 40 years. So generations with the S, ongoing, throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Jesus came eating fish, a lot of fish from the ocean. And then when the disciples came to him and said, because he said they was at the marketplace and they wanted him to eat, he said, I have meat that you know not of. And he wasn't talking about physical meat. So we could take it for what it is, but the way he said it as if he wasn't going to eat what they brought from the store, the marketplace. Wow. Wow. That's deep. Once again, something else we see when we read the scriptures out loud. This is something else I wanted to touch on. Let's look at it right quick. John 20:17. We'll read it so we can get down to the base of it first. John 20:17. Starting at verse, I started at the very beginning, John 20:1. John 20, chapter 20, verse 1. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, into the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and saith unto them, They have taken away the Lord out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they had laid him, or have laid him. For Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple, and came into the sepulchre. So they ran both together, and the other disciple did outrun Peter, and came first to the sepulchre. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen clothes lying, yet went he not in. Now, it gives it away who that other disciple was. It's the same one that wrote this, that wrote John. It's John that wrote John, the same one of Revelations. I just find it interesting that he wanted to win this race between him and Peter to get to the sepulcher. He said he won. He said, so they ran both together, and the other disciple did outrun Peter. I just find it interesting. And he stooping down and looked in, saw the linen clothes lying, yet went he not in. Then cometh Simon Peter following him, and went into the sepulchre, and seeing the linen clothes lie, and the napkin that was about his head, not laying with the linen clothes, but wrapped together in a place by itself. Then went in also the other disciple, which came first to the sepulchre, and he saw and believed. So he'd already told us that he beat Peter on foot to the sepulchre, right? Then it says, then went in also the other disciple who came first to the sepulchre. We already know. Ooh, we already know. Now you can tell that it's John writing this about himself. For as yet they know not the sepulchre, that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples went away again into their own home. 11 is dark, but Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white clothing sitting, and one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She saith unto them, Because they have taken away my Lord, and I know not where they have laid him. And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing, and knew not that it was Jesus. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? She, supposing him to be a gardener, saith unto him, Sir, if thou have borne him hence, tell me where they have laid him, and I will take him away. Jesus saith unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master, T at the M, teacher. He saith unto her, Touch me not. This is what we're focusing on right now. Other parts happen because we're reading it out loud and the Spirit of truth is here. But this is vital. Jesus saith unto her, Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. Now, I want to hold fast to that right there. Hold fast to that. And then this is same John 7:39. Now he told her, he said, Touch me not. Right? Touch me not. This is John 7:39. John 7:39 said, But this spake he of the Spirit. Let's go back up a little bit. 37. John 7:37 says, In the last day, that great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, now the Bible tells us this is the last day, right? We got to capture it. We cannot mess this up, right? This is Bible. And in John, the Bible's telling us in the last day. that great day of the feast, a feast that Jesus and the disciples did not eat. They ate a private meal. They they ate a meal, but it was in private, right? It was just them. It was just him and his disciples. They didn't eat with they didn't eat with everybody else. So then it says, if any man, hello Trinity, salute, thank you. I enjoy your channel as well. But this he spake, he of the Spirit, which they that believed on him should receive, for the Holy Ghost was not yet given, because that God was not yet glorified. So these are what we're looking at. He tells Mary in John 21. Hold on, let me get my place. So did I mess it up? He tells Mary in John 20 and 17, Jesus said unto her, touch me not. In John 7:37, we're looking at where he's talking about him not being glorified. So this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to look up that word glorified. And it says, especially of something or someone ordinary or exceptional, represented in such a way as to appear more elevated or special. For example, I did the paperwork and was basically a glorified secretary. Now that don't really capture. Now asking about what it means biblically. Glorification is the final stage, or the ordo salutis, and an aspect of a Christian, if refers to the nature of believers after death and judgment. The final step is the application of redemption. To glorify God is to mirror his image, which is to love, and to love graciously as he does. No one can glorify God as perfectly as Christ did, which is why he was in need of his mercy. But to believe in Jesus is to believe not only what he did for us, but in the wisdom of the life. Now this is probably more or less a thank you. Thank you, Trent. This is probably more of a man's opinion about being glorified, but I just find this, being a Bible reader, I just find it strange. He tells her, touch me not. And then it speaks at this last day, because Jesus was not yet glorified. Let me read it. Let me read the whole thing again. In the last day, the great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Holy Ghost was not yet given, because that Jesus was not yet glorified. Okay, so let's continue. He had not yet been glorified. Now, if we look at now we go on. I should read the whole piece, so whoever's new to the channel, whether it's now or later, won't be confused. Okay, so the last thing we read in John 20 and 17, Jesus said unto her, touch me not. That's the topic at hand. The war between real and fake. The war between real and fake. Jesus said unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascended unto my Father and your Father, and to my God, your God. So he's basically telling Mary, don't touch me. I have not been glorified yet or approved yet of my Father, which is in heaven, right? So he's telling her to go tell the brethren that he's about to go do so, that he's about to ascend. That means go up. So he goes up. Now, we got to understand too, Matthew, oh man, see, we got to put the whole thing together, the whole Bible together. Matthew 27 and 50. So this will relate to John, but John doesn't describe it this way. Matthew described it his way. John describes it his way. I don't understand it, but this is how it is. Matthew says, Jesus in verse 50, which is dark in my Bible, be here at B ground. Be here at B. I don't know what it is. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent and twined from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. The graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. I can't get that. I can't get past that part. I can't get past the part that when he hung his head in the book of Matthew and gave up the ghost, that there were the graves opened, and many bodies of the saints slept, arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection. So basically, and John talks about, he telling Mary, touch me not, because he has not yet been glorified. But yet the graves had opened up according to Matthew, and many saints had risen from the dead and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Do we understand what glory, we say we're going to give God the glory, right? But do we understand what that is, right? Do we understand the absolute capital of giving him the glory? I'll continue. So now he's telling Mary to go tell his brethren, which are the disciples, no one else, but the ones he chosen, which will be 11, because Judas has already unalived himself, right? So let's continue. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things unto her. 19 is dark. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and saith unto them, peace be unto you. Then the same day at evening, the same day he told Mary that I go ascend to my Father, go tell the brethren. This is all the same day. Let's not miss that, right? We're reading this thing out loud. Okay, 20 it says, and when he had so said, he showed unto them his hands and his side. Then were the disciples glad when they saw the Lord. That's capital L, lowercase O-R-D. Then said Jesus to them again, peace be unto you, as my Father hath sent me, even so send I you. And when he had said this, he breathed on them and said unto them, receive ye the Holy Ghost. Whosoever sin ye forgive, remit, T-R, forgive. Whosoever sin ye retain, they are retained. 24. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Jesus came. You see how this worded? I read this thing out loud, y'all. Y'all know that, and I don't tiptoe around it. But you see how this worded? It says, but Thomas, one of the 12. Now, Judas has already made his decision. But Thomas is not present at the time, but it still says 12. That would mean that right now standing with Jesus is 10 people, not 12. Got to catch it. 10 is with him. Thomas is gone. Judas is gone. So there's 10 disciples right now. You say, well, it's just the fact of you want truth. You don't want to be given any false information, right? We gotta understand what's what. So the other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I would not believe. And after 8 days again, his disciples were with him, and Thomas with them. Then came Jesus, and the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, peace be unto you. Now this is a dark star by 27. Then saith he to Thomas, who? See, like I said, if we don't read this thing out loud, we won't catch it. Now, it didn't say Jesus saith unto Thomas. It says, then he saith unto Thomas. So if you had just jumped in the Bible, or if a teacher had just jumped into the scriptures and said, let's read, and we got people that just been converted today, just understanding the realization that there is a God and he has a son. We just learned that today. And the teacher just happened to jump into John 20 and said, let's read John 20 and 27. Let's look at John 20 and 27. Then he said to Thomas, who? Now, I know the person that's been, that's been Bible reading for a while and everything would be up here and say, who you think he's talking about? That's not how it works. That's throwing hot steak at an individual that just understood that God is real and he has a son. Here till the end. Salute. Y'all go watch Trending Live TV. Her channel is unbelievable. So then saith he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. So I'm wondering if he didn't have faith, which he didn't to me, because we're told today if we say negative things, we don't have faith. What'd he say? I ain't gonna believe it unless I touch. Let's go back. I don't want to put things that's not there. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. This is John 20:25. But he said unto them, except I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of his nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I would not believe. Doesn't that sound like no faith? So also we're looking at the fact, now this is the war between real and fake. The war between real and fake. So he told Mary, touch me not. She believed, because when he said Mary, she said Rabboni. Right? That's belief. She knew who he was. She believed. Here's Thomas that don't, but he still get a second chance. Right? Also, he says in Matthew that we read, he says he has not been, well, the writer says because he had not been glorified. So apparently, because we didn't read it in John, hope y'all keeping up with what I'm saying. In John, we didn't read it because what it says Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord and that he had spoken these things unto her. What things? Touch me not, but go tell the brethren, I say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God, your God. That's the thing she's saying, right? But in 19, first thing it says, then the same day at evening, the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst. So telling us without telling us is telling us that he did go. He had to go to be glorified by God, be approved. That word glorified, to be approved by God, right? Because why? You say, JB, why are you saying that? Because at first he told Mary, he said, touch me not. Now he's given Thomas free will to touch him. Is anybody there? And when my eyes opened this morning, these are the things I was hearing in my spirit. The touch me not. Then at 28, John 20:28 says, and Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord, my God. Now all is set now. He believes. So not only in those times and in Exodus that I was reading earlier, and I have to continue to read until we finish it, they get a cloud. They get a voice in the cloud. Now all of a sudden the disciples, when they're in disbelief, they not only they get a body to confirm that all things are all things. What do we have today? What do we have today that confirms that all things are all things? Bills? Fast cars? Yachts? Big houses? Carpet to protect us from cold floors? Lights? Water? What do we have today? That confirms to us that all things are all things, like Thomas had. Thomas was in the gall of bitterness, almost the way he said it. But he said unto them, except I see his hands, the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails. Not only did he want to see the nail print, but he wanted to stick his hands, his fingers in the nail print and put his whole hand in his side. Then, only then, will a follower of Jesus believe that he is he. Think about that. Really think about what I'm telling you. the war between real and fake. Not only did his brethren come to him, Mary came to him and consult and basically established themselves. We seen the Lord, right? But he still like no faith. No faith. He's not gonna believe it. So once again, I asked, what do we have today? Moses, they had a cloud. They had a mountain. Moses had a burning bush. He had a staff. He had a rod in his hand that could do magic. When Jesus came on the scene, for John to be established that it was he had the dove. He had the spirit descending up and down like a dove. They had a cloud. This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. What do we have today? Okay. Jesus said unto them, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet believed. 30 is dark. Now, right after 29, I get a dark number, 30. And many other signs truly did Jesus in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. I wonder why. Because I go to Genesis and I'm reading about all of these epods and brass, silver, things in his time, but I wanted to hear more about what Jesus done to make this, to really make the disciples understand that he was he on earth. Is that harsh for a person that reads the Bible to say out loud? Is that harsh of me? But these are written that ye might believe. But these are written that ye might believe. But these are written that ye might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing ye might have life through his name. Is that the Son of God, and that believing ye might. I always cleave to that might. Are we going to the beach today? We might. That check is supposed to hit the mail today, right? It might. Don't it's supposed to rain tomorrow? We got to walk down to go get such. It might. Are we seeing what? It's not shall. See, times, and I can't change it. You can't change. You can't. But it doesn't. Shall is always more comfortable. The word shall is always pleasant to hear. But might. Would you read a book for me? Would you read a book to me tonight before I lay down? I might. And then John 21:25. John chapter 21:25. And there are also many other things which Jesus did. And there are also many other things which Jesus did, the which, if they should be written, every one, I suppose that even the world itself cannot contain the books that should be written. It's about the renewal of the mind. I suppose that even the world itself cannot contain the books that should be written. Libraries all over the world. I seen some I- from from what I've seen 2 and 3 story libraries. There's probably some bigger than that in the world. There's universities. There's small colleges. There's Barnes and Nobles if they're still up and going. There's all kind of places to buy books. But that just hit me hard. That really hits me hard when I have to read it like that. When I was told as a boy, it was all about Jesus. Let's see. I want us to really look at this too. I had been on for 4 days, so I have a lot to regurgitate. Let's see here. Exodus, which we're there at Exodus, but this has also been daunting in my thoughts. 20:7, and I want you to just see how it's written and listen to what I say, not how I say it, but just listen to how it's read in the Bible. This is Exodus 20:7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. That's capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Let's look at let's get all the resources. Let's pull all the resources we can out of that statement. 19:12, Leviticus 19:12. I'm I'm not really amazed, but the number 12 in my Bible is dark, and I'm gonna show it to you here. I don't want to lose my page. The Leviticus, you see how dark that is compared to 10? You see that? All that dark, all those dark numbers. So it's not really puzzling that it's dark, but and it says, if ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. That's what it gives me. If ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of the Lord or of thy God. I am the Lord. Now, sometimes in the Bible, you might find the G-O-D, you might find it capitalized, all the numbers. All the letters, I'm sorry. But this is capital L-O-R-D and G, capital G, but the O-D is lowercase. Okay, so don't you find that interesting? The name. So majority of people say God. Some people say, talk about different Yahweh, all types of Jehovah. They take, it's all types of different things out here. Um, he told when Moses asked him, "What is your name?" What did he say? He said, "I am." Right? He said, "I am that I am." So the word vain is kind of like making something useless or making it not uh, you know. So just think about that. People have been saying God for a long time. People say Yahweh, say Jehovah, say all manner of things. But in Bible, when Moses asked him what's his name, he said, "I am." So what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying is, say if everybody's saying it wrong, they would say if everybody's saying it wrong, they could be saying it in vain because uh, he didn't give Moses a whole list of names to call him, right? He didn't give him a whole list. Let's go back. Let's go back real quick. It won't take me long to find it. I'm already on it. Let's get the real documentation of what he said. Right here, edit. All right, right here. The communication between God and Moses was outstanding. This is Exodus chapter 3, and I start at verse 9 because the 11 is dark, and I want us to capture all of this. Now, therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is coming to me, and I have also seen the oppression rather, wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee into Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. 11 is dark. And Moses said unto God, Who am I, that I should go into Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly I would be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come into the children of Israel, I shall say unto them, The God of your fathers have sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. Isn't it plain? He didn't give them a list. He didn't give them a list. I am that I am. I am have sent me unto you. I had to tell somebody what I had been hearing in my spirit. Because that's what it is, right? I am. And with that, um, I have read Exodus. I read some New Testament too as well. Um, we also have some whoever's interested. My iron sharpens iron. So we have some files today. But just, I mean, the Bible ain't hard to read. You know, it's not hard to read. I just believe to most it's hard to accept that it is what it is, right? The touch me nots, you know, and how quick the writer was to turn it into, without letting us know that he had already ascended from touch me not to Mary. Then Thomas able to touch him. I think it's very valuable when you got people that's just learning about the Bible and how to read it. You know, I always say the best way to read it is out loud. So, see here. Start with the bottom. I want to use fair use copyright. Is it open? I want to use fair use on this stuff. Okay. I was hitting the wrong button. Sorry. I want to use fair use copyright 107. All for entertainment purposes. Let's get our knowledge on.
But as of about 3 minutes ago, 7:15 Eastern Time, 99% of the entire world's population is facing the sun. That means we're all experiencing some degree of sunlight at the exact same time, either full daylight or, for a lot of other folks, twilight. If you look at the map right there, just the Pacific Islands and Australia, the Australian region, are fully in the dark. 99% of the world.
And California. Poor California.
Yes.
You know what, though? What a cool phenomenon.
One thing to bring us all together, literally to bring all of us together, because at this moment, I'm talking right now, 7:15, 99% of the population of the Earth is in some sort of daylight or sunlight. Now, this is due to the fact that the Earth has a tilt to it, 23.5 degrees. So it's the way it's rotating around the sun and the way it's orbiting in general. But right now, at this time in the calendar year, this doesn't happen every day. This only happens today, and it only happens right now. 7.68 billion people are in daylight or in twilight. The only spots that are not in daylight right now are Australia, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand. Outside of that, the rest of the world is in daylight. You like that?
Crazy. Think about that. Flat Earth, maybe, perhaps. Perhaps they're telling us about flat Earth.
Prior to his death, when I was involved, and he came forward, as you all know, wrote the day after Roswell. He had been involved in some of the technology transfer, and he had an experience out at the White Sands missile range back in the 50s. Pretty sure it was 1956, but I don't want to be, don't quote me on that. And he was a colonel. He was involved in these projects. There was an ET craft that came in daytime and came down over the range. He went out there with a couple of his guys, and this craft, it would be three-dimensional and then vanish like a heat wave, like Stephen Digna explained, and then back again. Finally, it stayed. There was an ET that emerged, extraterrestrial biological entity, and he said the ET was communicating, please don't hit us with these radar. Can you get these radar systems out? You know, and was asking, because they were operational, of course, at that time they were operational at Roswell. And being a brash young, you know, Air Force colonel, and he says, "What's in it for me?" And the ET says, "A new world if you can take it." Now, I was one. Now, you know, I have 12 grandchildren. What kind of world are we going to leave them if we don't fix this problem? Because it involves peace, and we have to work towards contact that is in a peaceful paradigm. We've launched a very controversial project, as I get attacked the most for, the CE5, or Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind contact program, as sort of an experimental, community-based outreach to these civilizations. We have had a number of extraordinary contact experiences. This is sort of a prototype that the French government during the presidency of Sarkozy asked us to demonstrate, and we set an operation in France that was protected, where we did have events take place. I think we have to begin to ask, what can we do as a civilian government where we don't try to militarize and weaponize everything we don't understand? Because here's the problem. If you're a hammer, the whole world's a nail. And so we have to get this disclosed properly so that our brighter scientists, our academics, our political leadership, and our diplomats and the citizens can take the lead on this issue rather than an illegal and clandestine operation that is a threat to national and world security.
So entertainment purposes only. What y'all guys think? You know, what's going on with these guys that served in the military is coming out more and more about things they saw, things they still see.
Time by now?
Oh, you're right. Uzi?
Yes?
Operator, it should be nighttime.
Eh? Oh! Quickly! No!
Shooting star, please.
Something to help us think, right? I never seen that before. I don't know what movie that was. Never watched it.
Of crime and homeless. I ran into this billboard on this lot. So this is a vacant lot for construction, and it says live life deeper, 144 stories underground. You may never go outside again. It's so creepy. I'm wanting to know if this is real with this construction site right here, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills adjacent, a controlled access community, 24/7 security, residents only amenities, a new standard of sustainable living, but it's all underground. Live life deeper. The world's first and only completely subterranean residences. Terrifying. I feel like it's a horror movie. It's so creepy.
I don't know. I think maybe God, he might have a filter on his face or something. I don't know, but it's all creepy, right? But this is not a Fear Factor channel. This is a channel where we get wisdom, knowledge, sharpen each other's skills.
23. So my question to you is, what is the longest river in the United States? I grew up in Illinois, and I was always told in my timeline that the longest river in the United States was the Mississippi River. But according to this timeline, the longest river in the United States is the Missouri River. So let me know if you think this is a true Mandela effect or if it's always been this way. Make sure to leave a comment and follow for more Mandela effects.
What you guys think? Had it always been like that? I'm like her. I thought Mississippi was the longest river, but I mean, if somebody else got a different information, let me know. Leave a comment.
Hawaii.
Hawaii? What about Hawaii? Mo? Who's going to Hawaii? Am I going to Hawaii?
Stop saying Hawaii in there.
You fools! You've erected a massive concave reflective surface. It will focus the sun's beam in a deadly ray.
First off, I'd like to thank the good people at Tianjin Smelting and Mining and Donuts and Tops for neutralizing our wonderful, deadly new Lord Lad.
Wow. So we don't even really have to say much about that, right? It's kind of tell on itself.
They come out when I'm inspired. They've always been inside of me, but I have been waiting for the right time to reveal to the universe who I truly am, Lady Gaga. My placenta. My mum found in my basement, crushed up, and made into a necklace that I wear every day to improve my psychic abilities, Kasha. I used to have a folder called Demons that had pictures with all the screen caps in it. But then weird things started happening to me, so I deleted it. Ariana Grande. I love the smell of diapers. I even like when they're wet, and you smell them all warm like a baked good. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Michael Rockefeller went on an expedition in 1961 to explore the part of indigenous people in Indonesia. This would be the last photo taken of Michael before eaten by cannibals.
The topic of today's live is the war between real and fake. The war between real and fake.
Show. We do not care how many Ukrainians die, not civilians, not women, not children, not soldiers. We do not care.
But there's been trillions of dollars sent over there. You know, the math ain't mathing, is it?
Are we really living life, or are we caught in some type of weird matrix that we were forced to think that that's the way we're supposed to be living? Because before you listen, all right. So I was riding down the road one day, and I'm pretty sure I was in a rush to go to wherever I was on my way. I can't remember where I was going, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm in a rush. Hold on, I forgot how to go. All right, so I was riding down the road, and I seen, like, I'm not going to say a bum, but I seen one of those people, and he was in the grass, shirtless. He had an apple in his hand. His feet was crossed. He was eating the apple. He wasn't worried about nothing. And the first thing I thought in my head was, oh my God, really? A bum? Like, get up, go do something. Then I thought, who's really winning, me or him? Because I'm spending my time that I will never get back, my energy throughout the day, focusing on money, paying bills, going to school, graduating, running on somebody else's time to go work in a systematic program that's going to do what? While he is sitting there, no worry in the world, shirtless, sunbathing, shoes off in the grass, eating an apple that he probably didn't even pay for. Who's really losing? So then I started to think, the only way out the matrix is literally giving everything up. And that's the sacrifice that we're not willing to make. I'm not willing to make it. I'm not gonna lose my house. I'm not gonna lose like ways I take care of my daughter to come completely out of the system. But when you're really out of the matrix, you don't see things from a certain point of view anymore. That guy sitting down eating the apple, we looked at him as a bum. He looked at us as like, wow, free grass? Somewhere where I was born and raised? I'm not paying no bills, I'm eating an apple, I don't have no work, like I'm enjoying nature. And then I thought to myself, like, if none of this shit existed, what would I be doing? If I didn't have to work a job to pay for a house, would I even live in a house? If I didn't have to wear clothes because it wasn't systematically programmed that I needed it, would we really wear them? Like, I don't know, like, I started thinking, I was just like, anyone would look at him and think he's losing in life, but that's because they're still caught up in the matrix. Now, when I really come down to myself, I'm not even willing to give certain things up. Like, if you ever watch the movie The Matrix, first, second, all the way through, there's a bunch of them. The guy who found out the truth, and we're not talking about Neo, not the main character, there was a guy who found out the truth, and he couldn't take it. He wanted to go back in the matrix. He wanted them to wash him of what he found out and go back to the matrix. And when they asked him why, he was like, because the truth is too unbearably true. I was happier living a fake life. I was happier living without knowing. Now that I know this is really the real life, I don't like it. He couldn't handle the truth. And he wanted to go back, but there was no going back. Once you're in, you're in. And he was begging to go back. He was begging to be washed. And there's people like that in the world. There's people who rather just not fucking, they rather just like, do it. Like, okay, I gotta go to school. I gotta get a good job. I gotta pay the bills. I gotta take care of it. I got to. But what if one day, and I'm not telling people to go just throw away their freaking problems and go in the grass and eat an apple like a bomb. I'm just saying, what if life was really that free to where you could enjoy nature and the things that Earth gives you for free? Like, we really buy water. We literally buy fruit. There is not a female tree in any forest to bear fruit. You have to buy it. You never really look at like the rat trap that you're in until you actually look around you. Like, people are actually, like, my friend the other day, he told me he went to go pick a watermelon from down the street. It was like this little marketplace for who sells like natural watermelons and stuff like that. He said instead of driving like he usually would, he decided to walk. And as he was walking with a watermelon over his shoulder, there was people of bigger size, we're not body shaming on here TikTok, laughing as if it's like, why is he carrying a watermelon down the street? Whole time, like, that's what people really survive before cars. Like, but it was like, why are you not? And you wonder why people are overweight. And you wonder why we have all these issues. It's like, what's really normal is looked at as not normal, and what's really robotic and systematic is looked at as, oh, you're doing it right. And I feel like every day when I'm here in the Matrix, I question myself, because no one, are you guys really, truly, really happy? Or would you rather be in the forest eating fruit with no bills?
Where would y'all like to be at today? Real or fake? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole motto of this live today. What would you rather be? You rather be inside or out, eating fruit, being free? I got a concept. I got what she was on.
23 this year. Target, 13 stores closing in 2023. Walgreens will be closing 200 stores. Macy, 125 stores over the next 3 years. Starbucks plans to close 400 stores. Bed Bath & Beyond closing around 50 right now. I think that number is going up to 150, 125 stores. Victoria's Secret closing 50 stores. American Eagle Outfitters closing 250 stores. Kohl's closing 27 stores. GameStop 180 to 200 stores. Walmart. This is shocking when you look at Walmart, going to be closing 154 stores. Imagine the size of these stores, the millions of square feet that is going to be sitting vacant on top of the millions of square footage right now sitting vacant. Bath & Body Works closing 50 stores. JCPenney's will be closing up to 90 stores.
When I was, let's see, this a few years back, they would always talk about like FEMA camps. There's a lot of things I don't really want to get into right now, but you know, you're hearing about these stores closing. My thing is, I'm like this when I watch the you know, the TikToks I even show on this channel. It's not true to me until it comes to pass. If it comes to pass, then we are firsthand witnesses of who put it out there, and we'll see it coming to fruition. But until then, it's just entertainment, something to think about, this and that. That's the way I see it. But if it comes to pass, then I'm like, okay, well, I've seen this. I mean, a person put it out there, right? That's the only way that's what I take it as, right? So another way of not being fooled by Satan's device or devices, right?
Love that. Today, the Lion Gate portal opens. If you visited my page before, you know we've already talked about the pyramids and how they align with the stars. Well, today, our sun is aligning with the Sirius star and Orion's belt, which the pyramids of Giza is perfectly aligned with. It's a certain time where things align where you can access specific stuff. The Egyptians and other societies knew about this. These sacred places were used for channeling, traveling, portaling. But let's get in on the energetic field of what's happening today. This veil that is thinning between us and higher spiritual dimensions is allowing us to receive high vibrating cosmic light. My symptoms so far this happening in the past days has been headaches, feeling very, very tired, and also not wanting to sleep at all. Confusing. Source energy is flowing like crazy right now. The quantum energy field is upgrading, plus it is overlapping a Venus retrograde. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, I don't feel anything. I don't see any portals opening up in the sky. Like I have explained about the fourth dimension, there are people on this earth who have psychic abilities who are able to see into the fourth dimension and see aliens and portals and everything opening up. The fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, all of that is outside of our normal 3D reality. So portals, stargates, energy shifting in our body is going to be something foreign to you. Now, I'm going to tell you ways that you can hone in on this beautiful energy right now. Because today is 8-8, which is basically the infinity symbol, what you focus on today is going to program you. Because intentions and the infinite possibilities are supercharged. So use this time to write down everything that you want, everything that you desire. When you get done writing it down, go through everything on the list. Now, in meditation, I need you to picture that reality happening for you. Clear as day, like you see me on this video. You're going to use that solar plexus energy. Like I said, your intentions are supercharged. Picture whatever blockages that are happening for you right now, releasing. We are getting upgrades, downloads, heart realignment, all of that just flowing in. So as you're going down your list, set your powerful intentions on the things that you desire. Visualize it and focus on it. What does this version that you desire looks like? What does the life look like? What does the reality look like? Tap into that. So it's okay if you don't feel like everything is drastically changing for you right now. But because we are multidimensional beings, things are spiritual before it is physical. And in that realm where you go to after you lay down in bed, time does not exist. Sometimes your spiritual body, the thoughts, the things that you create inside of your head take a little time aligning with your physical reality. Hence, why we are here on this earth, to use our powers of creation. Let me give you an example, right? We are solid. The kinetic energy for solid is very low. The vibration of gas, it vibrates at a high speed. But solid does not move from place to place. It's a slower vibration. That's why we're here working on our powers to be able to speed that situation up, create more, and bring more things to life. So enjoy and connect to this upgrading cosmic light. Y'all stay dangerous.
I mean, you know, that's videos like that to me, you know, it's just like, you know, you have to do your research the idea of this could possibly be true, or you can find out wrong.
I bet you thought I was drinking tea, but
You can find out that any research, you know, if you do your research, you can find out that what she's saying is possibly true. Or you may figure out in research that she might be off some, or she might be off all the way together, but we don't know until we do research, right? The importance of research.
this glass is empty. You see that? There was no tea in there. And this isn't my hand. These are my hands. That's not real at all. You see, you're being lied to. You're being lied to. I bet you thought this was me, but no, this is just a reflection. This was all taking place on a mirror. It was all a mirror. It was all a lie. And I bet you thought I was wearing pants. I'm not wearing pants. And this isn't even my voice. I dubbed this over in post-production. And you're being lied to. This is all taking place on a screen, and you are being lied to. You're being lied to.
Well, he said it, I mean, hope y'all enjoying the unknown files. I just didn't have time to create the images I normally create, so I just decided to do it this way.
To help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
Anyone? The answer is none of them. None of these is actually real. From any image, without ever 3D scanning the person. And here's the same output model from different views. This also works on videos by running the same algorithm on each video frame and generate a moving 3D model. And here's the same output model from different angles. Turns out this problem is very challenging, but the key trick is that we're going to analyze a large photo collection of the person beforehand. For George W. Bush, we can just search on Google. And from that, we're able to build an average model and iteratively refine the model to recover the expression and find details like creases and wrinkles. What's fascinating about this is that the photo collection can come from your typical photos. It doesn't really matter what expression you're making or where you took those photos. What matters is that there are a lot of them. And we're still missing color here. So next, we develop a new blending technique that improves upon a simple averaging method and produces sharp facial textures and colors. And this can be done for any expression. Now, we have a controllable model of a person, and the way it's controlled now is by a sequence of static photos. Notice how the wrinkles come and go depending on the expression. We can also use a video to drive the model.
Rory, but somehow we've managed to attract some more amazing people.
And here's a lot of fun demo. So what you see here are a controllable model of people I built from their internet photos. Now, if we transfer the motion from the input video, we can actually drive the entire party.
It's a very difficult bill to pass because there's a lot of moving parts, and the legislative process can be ugly. And
So, coming back a little bit, our ultimate goal, rather, is to capture their mannerisms or the unique way each of these people talks and smile. So to do that, can we actually teach the computer to imitate the way someone talks by only showing it video footage of the person? And what I did exactly was, I let a computer watch 14 hours of pure Barack Obama giving addresses. And here's what we can produce, given only his audio.
The results are clear. America's businesses have created 14.5 million new jobs over 75 straight months.
So what's being synthesized here is only the mouth region, and here's how we do it. Our pipeline uses a neural network to convert an input audio into these mouth points.
We get it through our job, or through Medicare or Medicaid.
Then we synthesize the texture, enhance details in teeth, and blend it into the head and background from a source video.
Women can get free checkups, and you can't get charged more just for being a woman. Young people can stay on a parent's plan until they turn 20.
So, I mean, people don't even have to be where they are, right? They don't have to be where they are for these type of technologies to to exist. So it's dangerous stuff, crazy, man.
26.
I think these results seem very realistic and intriguing, but at the same time frightening, even to me. Our goal is to build an accurate model of a person, not to misrepresent them. But one thing that concerns me is its potential for misuse.
When we pray, what we praying for, you know? We're told and taught that, God knows all. He knows everything. So
wild. So deepfakes, what are
so when we pray, what we actually praying for, in 2023.
they? It's someone able to use AI to make someone do anything or say anything that they'd want them to. Now recently in The Mandalorian they did this for Luke Skywalker. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool. But a lot of people started to take advantage of this and things started to get really dark. They would get some very dirty video and put someone else's face on there and start to blackmail them saying they'd expose this video if they don't do something for them. And a lot of messed up people were using this for CP. But besides this, what if someone uses this on a president and then sends it to another country or a nation, or someone sees it and then a whole war breaks out over something like this? And it's highly possible. I mean, it got so bad, even Obama started to talk about this.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
Nope, that wasn't Obama. That was Jordan Peele.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
See what I mean? So even though it's cool, there's always a dark side. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I understand it's it's coming to us full circle. All this stuff is coming to us full circle. I don't know how that even got put into the files, but hope you enjoyed that little second. I know people love kittens. I'm a dog person myself.
Extension. Y'all think I got time to go on vacation? No. I got social to do. Come on, man, this is blue screen. In fact, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't looked like this good in years. I've been totally computer generated since like the 90s. You know what? This ain't even real blue screen. It's 2019, y'all. Nothing's real.
The actual fundamental technique of replacing someone's face is more easy than many people would think.
It's the opposite of mapping to someone's face. It is a process that goes on.
I am not Morgan Freeman. What you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even...
The war between real and fake. That's what this is all about.
What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel?
Ain't too much you could say about that one, you know. Like I said, it's all about where you stated what
We use artificial intelligence to create hyper-real.
it's all about where your state of mind is. But we can say that they put this stuff right in front of our face. And because, you know, like, you know, just because we're in a situation where we're comfortable at home and all these things, doesn't mean stuff around us isn't happening and we can't do possibly anything about it. Right? Being silent sometimes is not the best option. Let's check this one out.
Content. What we're doing here at AGT is the most advanced AI content creation the world's ever seen.
I cannot even imagine the amount of work to be able to create something so perfect.
Don't you love the fact that, you know, talent could be anything, and you guys are pure talent?
You have 4 yeses. Here's metaphysics.
So compared to the audition, we're upping the level. We've been working on this for weeks and weeks, nights and nights, because we really want to get to the grand final.
This is not the best act of the night. This is the best act of the series so far.
America has voted. The first to the finals is metaphysics.
Again, and also Elvis.
This is the most incredible original act we've ever had in any fight. You're going to have your own show on Vegas.
So basically, like, you know, type of show that is, you make it through the finals, you win, you get to go on and really create the thing that you're trying to, that you have talent in. So we'll see more and more of this type of technology, pretty much. Last but not least, see what we got. Last video of this evening
is trippy. All of this AI technology.
I want to say, if you haven't seen the Black Mirror on Netflix, check it out.
Technology, metaverse stuff, facial recognition. I knew there was a deeper meaning. Check this out.
What? How? Trust me, I'm as shocked as you are. But the show is using my life. It's my name, it's my career, it's me. They're using me. So, and you assign them the right to exploit all of that. What? When? Terms and conditions. I have never seen this before. You have. You just haven't seen it printed out before. all of that would have popped up on your phone, whatever, when you first signed up to Streamberry, and you clicked accept. But, I mean, I had no, how was I supposed to know this? I know, but you did accept it, and so they're in the clear. No, they can't do this to me. There are only so many ways for me to tell you that they absolutely can. Okay, well, Salma Hayek. Yeah, pretty cool. No, I'm gonna sue Salma Hayek. For what? For like passing herself off as me. She has no right to do that. Well, it's not really Salma Hayek. Yes, it is. No, technically, the show deploys a digital likeness of Ms. Hayek. They don't film her. She licensed her image to them. The entire show is CGI. It's generated by some kind of super advanced, deepfake quantum computer mumbo jumbo. They could make Salma Hayek blow an orangutan if they wanted to. Oh, I'm guessing Ms. Hayek would object to that, but you get my point. Right, so it's all computers. That's how they get them on the service so fast. But how do they even know what I'm doing? It's the same day. Well, you know when you got your phone face down on the table and you're in your kitchen and you're talking to your friend about, I don't know, shoe deodorizers. And then, you know, you go on your computer and what pops up? A shoe deodorizing ad. And then you get an email. And it's all about shoe deodorizing. And then you walk down the street and shoe deodorizing and you can't escape it. And it's... Yeah, so? That's how they know. Okay, but the show makes stuff up about me, right? It embellishes things. It makes me look worse than I really am. So, defamation. Yeah, page 53, paragraph 12. There's something about creating characters and dialogue for dramatic purposes. I agree.
See, there was one more. Let's see if I even got a chance to put it on. Stuff is but anyway, there you have it. Unknown Files. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos. Hope you enjoyed the Bible reading. If you haven't, hit the like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell. More content to come. I thank Trending Live for stopping by. Salute and greetings to you. April Showers, thank you for stopping by. Be prayerful always. Stay vigilant always. Lift holy hands wherever you go. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.